All right, no shade, listeners, subscribers, followers, anyone who listens to this. What is up? It is Monday, June 16th, and you're probably listening to this on Tuesday, June 17th. If you're a real listener, no, just kidding. You're listening to this early, maybe later, but we're coming at you on a new day because I kind of messed up the schedule. I should have put the the game that we are going to attend, which is the reason we can't record, against the Mercury this Wednesday. I should have put it in the last episode to recap, but it kind of threw off the whole schedule of recording. So we are here early doing a half of an episode just previewing these upcoming 3 games. So enjoy this shorter episode of me and Joe not annoying you as much as we normally do. But for now, Joe, annoy the people with what you've been doing in life. How is it going?
Had a good weekend. Hello, everybody. It was Father's Day weekend, so had to go celebrate the dads out there. Hope everyone had a good
That,
Father's Day. And
that aren't us. We are not dads.
no, not yet. No dad here. Still young.
Maybe next year for one of us.
Never know. But no, yeah. So I had a nice weekend, and then today, good work day. Was able to work outside for a couple hours, so you know how I love doing that. But all's good over here. Now, more importantly, I have a question for you.
Yeah,
What
shoot.
is the common what makes sense? Oh, I gotta word this right. Wow, I'm a dum-dum. What do you and Saturday night both have in common? No guess?
No, I know. I think I know the answer, but like I'm ashamed to even say it. I don't even. We went
You're both
live.
you
We
both
went
went
live.
live.
Is that
Yes,
the
you
answer?
both
Yeah,
went
Saturday
live.
Night Live. Yeah. And, if I can get my knee up, that's the knee slapper.
I've been prepping that for like 4 hours in the
I
mirror.
wish I wish I could have figured out how to text you from my watch quick enough, but I'm all right. I'll give you a little scoop for the podcast listeners, because if you follow us on Instagram and don't listen to a podcast, what the hell? You got to listen to the podcast. This is what it's for. But they're having Sanaya and Marina are, or Marina, as I was about to say by accident. They're a couple. They're a live couple name. They're not a couple. Obviously, people keep commenting that they are, but they're not. But they Sanaya on hers keeps adding having people request and come on and ask some questions or do something. So I was like, what the hell? I'm bored. There's nothing going on. This was Sunday night, yesterday. This
Yeah.
was yesterday, right? Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like, what the hell? Let me do it. Not thinking I'm gonna get on at all. I'm on the No Shade account. They don't know what it is. I'm not. I don't have a picture. Um, I commented a few times, but like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna accept it. There's a few girls that got on a few that regularly, but at one point Marina's sister's on her phone and it's like loud, and Sanaya stops accepting people. I'm getting into the farther details. This probably won't even be on the video I make. So you're getting the exclusive. So she stops having people on because it's loud and like obnoxious to have so many people going on, because they tried it and like couldn't hear things. And then her sister kind of like quiets down, I guess, so they allow more people to come on. And then Hannah comes on, which is like a regular on their streams. And then people keep commenting like, let me in, like I want to come on. And they're like reading the comments and stuff, and they're like, all right, people are requesting let me in, so I'm gonna let another person in. And they do a 4 screen, and I didn't comment let me in or anything. There's not me, so I'm thinking somebody else is going, like there's a long queue ahead of me, like I ain't getting in, like whatever, I'm just gonna kick back and relax. And then I just see a countdown going like 5, you're in 5, 4, and I'm like, oh shit, and I just swipe down, hit screen record, swipe back up, hoping it doesn't log me out or something. And then luckily the next thing I think you see is all their faces. And I just go, oh, shit got real. Shit just got real, guys. And then they I think they laughed. And then I started asking questions. And I was nervous at first. And then I eased into it. Basically, you'll hear more in depth now from now on about it's on the video on Instagram. So go check that out tomorrow, probably. Do it after we finish up recording this. But Yeah, I'm thankful I got to tell Marina that she's the reason I'm doing this now. She's the first player I fell in love with in the W. I told the story. DJ Carrington's the first player I saw and was like, I'm gonna start liking her. Like she's got game, to use a terrible phrase, but I was like, this is a good player. And then like once I started following the team and we went on a run in the playoffs and stuff, I was like, oh, Marina Mabry is that girl, is that woman, is that player, is that person. Like that's why I want to keep watching this sport. So it was cool to get on with them. So thanks for bringing it up. And yeah, now they know about our podcast, specifically Sanaya, who may or may not have mentioned coming on. Maybe if we ever get big. Well, I mentioned about getting big, but if we ever got big, but yeah. So hopefully we do something with Sanaya in the future.
No, that's just super cool that you were able to do that. I mean, I was laying in bed and I saw she was live, and I was just like, "Yeah, not tonight. Like, I'm in bed. I'm tired. It was a long day." And then you hit me with some text, and you're like, "Joe, I got on," and I'm like, "Oh shit, I better get on there." And you're like, "Oh no, I'm already out." But like, holy shit! So that's just like a cool thing because we're a couple nobodies, just guys who
Yeah,
like basketball.
luckily I got in and out of there. I did not want to be on long. I am an awkward fuck, and I should not be in there long. I just wanted to ask him a question and say thank you, pretty much, and plug the podcast, and that's exactly what I did. And yeah,
At least you weren't on when they were because a bunch of times they're always trying to get people coming on to spit game at them. So at least you didn't get entered in at that point.
yeah, I
You know,
wouldn't have
have a
requested that was
conversation.
the topic, and if it was, I would have been like, I don't know what to do. I would have spit game at Hannock and been like, hey, I have no game, and they're WNBA players. What's up? I have no chance with any of you. But anyway, should we get into previewing these games? We uh, we have extra time on this episode if you want to talk about your lawn or anything else you did this weekend.
Well, we're almost done with the perimeter of my lawn, so super excited. I'm hoping my goal is by the end of, or I guess comparing it to the season, by the time we get to the playoffs, is that I will be recording from an outdoor patio of some sort. That is my goal. We'll see if it happens or not. But
I can't
um,
wait. I can't wait for the Wi-Fi situation out in the patio.
I'll have to get an extender. That will be what I'll need. But no, let's talk basketball. We've got, I mean, after a week of no games, we're in the middle of a stretch where it's 5 games in 7 days. So a lot to preview still here.
What do
We
you,
won't get into the results. Won't spoil anything.
to steal a phrase from one of my all-time comedy heroes from one of the best shows of all time, Drake and Josh, from Josh Peck's podcast. They have a segment called "What Are You Nuts?" where they just like it's like what grinds my gears from
Mm-hmm.
Family Guy, and it's just like who made this schedule?
Yeah.
A week off? What is it? 5 and 7?
Yeah.
What are
Week
you
off,
nuts?
5 games in 7 days, which, I mean, I know other teams have had complaints about the schedule as well early on in the year. I think once you get to the All-Star break, it kind of levels itself out. I think the Euro basketball tournament has interfered with some things as well, with a couple players leaving their teams to go play. So yeah, the schedule just seems kind of wonky, not just for us, but it seems like there's a lot of teams who are like 3 games in 4 nights, and you know, or like you're seeing 5 games in a week. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
not
like they're
much you
not
can do
even.
when the scheduling gods do this to you.
It's like they're not think. First of all, they're not thinking of the players. Second of all, they're not even thinking about the podcasters who have to talk about all of these games in such a short amount of time. So it's really inconsiderate of the WNBA schedule makers all around.
No, and especially too, we talk about the rosters on the teams, and if you're only going to have 11 or 12 roster spots, you're throwing this many games in a short period of time, and someone gets hurt or something. Like the game we went to the other day or last week, at this point, we only had 8 active people before the end of the game. That's very tough to do in a limited amount of time if those injuries carry over from one game to the next with such a short turnaround.
Yeah, I never understood why in basketball, like, you can't just like put somebody like why don't they have like in baseball, like there's an injured list for you go on the 15-day IL and then you can get a player. You
The
can go
only the
out
only
for
kind of contracts are hardships because you have as long as you have I believe the number is 8. As long as you have 8 active players on your roster, you can't like hire a hardship contract or something.
yeah,
I'm
that's
like
insane. Eight. I know a lot of teams only play with like a 7 or 8 person rotation. Not a lot, but some teams can. But like that's ridiculous, especially during
yeah.
the regular season.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things where I know with the upcoming CBA, like it's going to be at the top of the list is not just expanding the teams, but expanding the rosters for the,
Yeah,
for the players that are already there.
let's pick it. Let's protest.
I
No
think
shade for lockout 2026.
I think the lockout's happening regardless. I think most sports go to the
The
lockout, but
W would have, or well, I guess I don't know who would be. I guess the W has their own CBA.
yeah,
It's not all with the NBA. Okay,
no,
so
no, completely,
they would
completely.
have to. They would have to cave immediately. The W's too hot. You have
Yeah,
to
I
get
mean, there's
close.
definitely going to be things that they ask for, and I mean, their off season's pretty long comparably because it's from October to about April.
The
So even if
W's
they
are, but
go
the
into a
players off season
lockout,
not.
well, yeah, I mean, if they go into a lockout while like unrivaled or something's going on, like the players aren't going to be as affected in the moment. So
Yeah,
like it could be something that gets dragged out, but we can talk about that
true.
as the end of the season comes on. I
Yeah,
have my thoughts on lockouts.
I think the players should have all the leverage. It's only going to get hotter
Yeah,
as there's only getting better. No, there's only going to be better and better players coming out of the high school and college. Like
you're not going to want to
I
lose a
just saw a
year
video
of
of I just saw a Hunter Cruz video of a sophomore in high school. Like who's nasty.
you're not going to want to lose a year of prime Caitlin Clark or Ionesco or Paige or like
Yeah.
Hugo Reese even now. Like you're not going to want to
You don't
lose
want
a year.
you don't want a year of the fans you just got being like, "Oh, I guess I'm not a fan anymore."
Right.
Sorry. You missed it. You missed the chance. Like if there's just no WNBA, if you're not that invested, you're gone. Like if
Yeah.
baseball locked out for you, you'd lose so many fans. All right, we should probably talk about the games at some point in this podcast. This is a preview podcast, so all right, we're in week 6 of the season already, Joe. Feels like we just traded away the entire team yesterday. So every week I said on the preview section of the pods, I was going to do a where are we in the season, based on like where the Sun are statistically in the league and where our players are, who's leading the team, who's leading what in the leagues, like I do with the away teams or the other teams we're playing. But everything is pretty much the same since we've last done a podcast. We've only played one game, and we play tomorrow before these 3 games. So I'm going to skip that for now and go right into game 1 of the week, which is Sunday the 18th. The 8-4 Mercury come in to the Mohegan Sun Arena and take on the 2-7 Connecticut Sun. The Mercury are currently in 4th place overall. That's where I had them. I don't know. You might have had them there as well.
4 or 5 right in the middle, if I remember
But
right.
yeah, I think we both had them 4 actually. But they have a 2-2 record on the road though, so decent sign. And the Sun are in 12th overall and have a 1-4 record at home. And we were at that game, and we are going on Wednesday. So hopefully we could be there for every home win, and then they hopefully continue past that because we won't be there for every home game. The Mercury, as a team, have made the most 3-pointers in the W with 117, 5 more than Atlanta has made in 2nd place, and they have the highest percentage of 3 points off. Or sorry, highest percentage of points off 3-pointers with 36.8%. So they shoot. Satu Sabali leads the Mercury and is 5th in the WNBA with in points per game with 20.6, and is 3rd in the W for fantasy points, which is apparently a huge deal for All-Star voting. It's one of their big stats put up there. I didn't write the number. I forgot how many fantasy points she has, but You can trust me on that one. And she leads the team in rebounds with 7.9. Alyssa Thomas leads the Mercury and is second in the W, 0.2 behind Caitlin Clark in assists per game with 9. So that's very impressive. And Monique Akoa Makani, I believe it's pronounced, is fourth in 3-point percentage in the W, shooting 47.4%. She does not shoot a lot, but she hits them at an almost 50% clip. This is the first matchup of the year between the Mercury and the Sun, and we can get into the injury report real quick. Sanaya Rivers should be good to go. She had what I believe is a cold, missed a game, but could have played if needed. Rhea Marshall should be returning for this game, but you never know. And not on the injury report, but didn't get minutes. Has fans upset is Morrow, Anissa Morrow. Hopefully she's okay and not sick or anything, and hopefully she's getting minutes. For the Mercury, 2 names, and unfortunately for the Sun, but fortunately for the WNBA, a specific name is off the injury report. Kalani Brown is day-to-day, but this should be her return date. And Megan McConnell has been out with a knee, and she'll be out for at least 10 more days as of today, recording this, so she'll miss this game. But Kalia Copper is back. She played against the Aces in her last game. She had 18 minutes, scored 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist on 4 of 9, and 1 of 3 from 3. Joe, what is your path to victory? What are the X's and Joes?
So we're, I feel like we're saying this every week because, we traded away a bunch of bodies, but this feels like the week where we're welcoming back a bunch of returning players, playing against. We've got Alyssa Thomas, certified Hall of Famer, one of the best players in the WNBA year in, year out. It starts and goes with her. Sabally, like you said, is the leading scorer, but that offense is run through Thomas, right? They're running their offense the same way we did, where it's feature her in the middle in the high post, top of the key, and letting her make a decision. Sabally has been great all year, inside, outside. She's a matchup nightmare. I mean, I'm looking at our roster and Tina and, Olivia, like, I'm curious which one guards which. I would assume you're probably putting the more length on Sabally, and that Olivia will be guarding there just because she's inside outside, where Alyssa Thomas isn't really taking jumpers. But I'm think this is one of those games where Coach Mez probably has to challenge Tina and be like, listen, you're gonna score your 15 points, but like you gotta lock up Alyssa Thomas. You can't let her throw easy bounce passes, skip passes from one side of the floor to the opposite corner, because you mentioned it. They are a prolific 3-point shooting team. I probably think, I know that you said they've only taken 5 more threes than Atlanta. I would go on a limb and say their threes are a lot better than Atlanta. Atlanta can kind of force sometimes, and you can force them into taking bad threes. I think just because of the pressure Alyssa Thomas puts on you in the middle of the floor in the paint, like, we have to close out on shooters, run them off the 3-point line best we can. It's almost like you want to have the strategy that we had against Atlanta, where it's let Brittany Griner and let Bree Jones go one-on-one, right? It's the same kind of thing here. Let Savali and let Alyssa Thomas try to take 20 of those little mid-range floaters that she like to take, that we watched over the last couple of years during the playoff runs. It's not going to be an easy task, obviously, but I'm challenging the front court. And you know what? If Rhea Marshall's back, this might be a good game for her to come in, versus someone like Diaby, who can't move her feet as well. Let's see if Rhea's athleticism, this is a good spot for her, because we talked about it. We don't really have many long players. That's something that we both were interested in Rhea, seeing her through the draft process, and then a couple of games early on in the year when she did get minutes. So if she's back, I'd like to see her get a couple minutes at that 4 position, helping her and Olivia on the floor at the same time or something. I think length plays her part. Alyssa Thomas is only 6'2". It's not like she's 6'6" and whatever, but she is a very, very good player, top echelon of the league. Like, she is a pillar, and we obviously miss her as much as we do, but it really starts with those two. And then real quickly, like you said, Copper's back. She seems to still be on a minutes restriction, which, 18 minutes, she's probably a 30 to 32 minute player. She's lead guard and all that. So hopefully we catch her. Maybe she's a little bit rusty, a little banged up coming back from the first game. And it's not just automatic buckets from her, because she is also not just a very good offensive player, but she is also a very good defensive player. So I would assume she gets Marina on the matchup to start the game, and we'll see if Marina can match the physicality.
Yeah. I would love to see Rhea Marshall get some minutes in this game and see if she can stop them down low. I don't think it's going to happen, sadly. I don't think the minutes are going to change much, especially coming off the injury for Rhea. Maybe she gets some minutes in the first half, but yeah, I wish she played a lot. Just to let's see what she's got. Because again, she's a player that when she gets minutes, she puts up stats. Might not be points. Sometimes it's rebounds. Sometimes it's blocks. Sometimes it's steals. But she does stuff. But anyway, let's get into Alex's expectations, and those are, man, this is a deep. This is not a deep team on paper. Maybe not even a deep team in reality. They don't really need to be. But when Copper is out, they don't. It's like where did this team getting this talent outside of us, Satu and AT? But with Copper now, it's like this team is got a huge three, not a big three, a huge three. You got three of the best players in the W. You got Alyssa Thomas is one of the most well-rounded players of all time. Copper, like you said, offensively and defensively, put America on her back this past Olympics. She was awesome. She is awesome. Coming off the injury, though, we'll see what she's got in this game. And then Satu's having a career year. Yeah, I picked them as a 4 seed. It's looking good. I had them losing to the Lynx, though, which obviously won't happen. Lynx are going to be like a top 2 seed. I was wrong about that. But I'm liking where I have them, and if I had to repick, probably have them advancing. I really am liking this Mercury team. The big three is just, like I said, it's a huge three. Like I said, they aren't deep, but they have like veterans Sammy Whitcomb and rookies Lexi Held and Catherine Westbeld have their moments in games, and they really are players that help the Mercury win games. And they're players that just help your team win games, and you need to surround your stars with those types of players. And I think they got a good amount of them, which I think we need players like that in our depth. But could we win? Could Mabry score 20 to 30 again? Could our defense look good? And could we steal this win at home? Possibly. It's not like oh my God, no, we're playing the Liberty or Caitlin Clark tomorrow. But it would take like a bad game from Alyssa Thomas, which rarely happens. Satu would have to be having like less than 20 points, probably less than 15, honestly. Or Copper would have to be getting a lot of minutes and like just really be struggling. And like just trying to get back in rhythm, one of those games where it's like it doesn't matter what your stats are, just like get back to form. We're playing the Connecticut Sun. Maybe. But this one probably won't look pretty. And if you're a Sun fan, you probably won't be happy unless Satu is on your fantasy team. That's honest. That's my honest truth. And those are Alex's expectations.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. They have a bunch of role players that seem to be excelling in their role, and you just do the compare contrast, and we're still struggling to find players 5, 6, 7, 8. Even our starting lineup has been inconsistent. So you're until you have defined roles and build, you got to play around your 2 stars, which we do have 2 stars. You got to kind of use Phoenix as your as a blueprint here, and it stinks because we did have that blueprint. We had Alyssa Thomas, but
Yeah. We
it's
had
a
5
depth thing
stars.
now.
We had literally 5 stars.
Mm-hmm. So,
But they didn't want to be here. Anyway, yeah. And we'll talk about it on the review once the Fever's game's over and we talk about it. But I think, man, JC Sheldon can be that player if she can just shoot more and get more playing, not more playing time. She gets a good amount of playing time. She can get the ball more and like be trusted more, and like plays be set up for her more. I don't know if they're looking at her as the third option because I mean Sanaya should be the third option. Let's be real, she's the future. Maybe she's the third star, but that role playing more like when everyone's focused on those three, maybe kick it out and let JC Sheldon hit 4 threes a game or shooting 8 threes a game or 6 threes a game and hit 3 to 4 big ones. Because I think she can.
yeah, she's had her spurts. She's had her spurts where she's looked really good, and then she's had games where she was like 0 of 2 from the floor, and like
Yeah, that's not enough.
Right? Like she needs to be shooting. She's here. She's a former first round pick, top 5 pick. Like,
And she's a dynamo on defense, so there's no reason not to play her.
right?
She's got a, yeah. She's the example role model type person you want on your team as well. Yeah, I'm really becoming a JC fan. Just keep knocking down those threes. But let's get into game 2 of the week. That's on Friday the 20th. How was your Friday the 13th, by the way? Did you get scared or anything? Seeing ghosts or murders?
I was at the gym, and there's a movie theater in my gym when I was doing cardio, and they were playing Freddy versus Jason, and did not hit me at all until I got home and I saw your post on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that makes sense why they played that movie. So
Nice.
I kind of had scary movies going on in the background all day because I'm a big horror junkie. So
Nice. Yeah, I like the Scream franchise, the Saw franchise, Freddy franchise, well, the Friday the 13th franchise, and then not the Nightmare on Elm Street. I said Freddy, but not the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I've only seen the first one, which was great. But the Friday the 13th is honestly kind of boring, but they're such classics that like
right.
I don't know, I love them.
No, exactly. Like they're not so much scares anymore nowadays. It's like a roller coaster ride. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this game that
Careful.
It's gonna piss me off talking about the previous game I had
Careful.
before, but this should be a close one. Should be there for us. The 1-11. That one came. I'll get to it. 1-11 Wings at 2-7 Sun. The Wings are currently in 13th place overall and are 1-6 on the road. Remember, I said we were 12th, so you would assume we are better than them. The Wings have lost 7 in a row, last winning against the Sun, that's us, back on May 27th. And they play the Golden State Valkyries before coming to Mohegan. The Wings are 5th in the W in rebounds per game with 35.7, which I did not think they would be. The Wings are tied for 4th in blocks per game as well with 4.5, but those two kind of come in hand in hand. Wings are 5th in free throw percentage at 79.1%, and they are 2nd in the W at percent of 2 points. I can never say this one on the first try. Highest percent of 2-point points at 59.1%, and our second highest in percent of points from mid-range behind us, the Sun, at 12.2%. We are 15.4%. Probably because of Tina.
Yeah, Tina and Olivia, they take a lot of mid-range jumpers.
You know what pisses me off about Tina, but she hits them, so I don't get mad, actually? She always takes that shot from half a foot inside the three-point line.
It's the Kevin Garnett jumper. It's my favorite jumper in sports, and everyone should do it. Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge.
That's why they teach you now to just shoot a three.
Yeah, they say now step back and shoot the three. But
It's so close. Like for that much room, just shoot a three. But that's her spot. It should be called the Kevin Durant shot because of that game against the Bucks when he accidentally stepped on the line. Anyway, enough about that loser. Where was I? Back to the wing stats. Page is third in the W now and leads the Wings, obviously, in assists per game with 6.1 and is fifth in the W in steals per game with 1.9. She also leads the Wing in points with 17.4 per game. Go Page. Maisha Hines-Allen leads the Wings in rebounding with 5.6, which doesn't seem like a lot for the team that's fifth in rebounding per game. But the Dallas Wings are 1-0 against the Sun in 2025, unfortunately. And before we get into the injury report, there was a trade. Unfortunately, not to our team, but my girl Lee Yarou was traded from Seattle to Dallas only for 2 picks, 2026 second round pick, which includes the right to swap with the Sun pick, and a 2027 third round pick, which includes the right to swap with the Fever. We have multiple picks this year in the second and third rounds. Why couldn't we get this done? Why couldn't we get our backup center?
it's probably, it says something about the coaching staff. One, you never know if even Morgan Tuck kicked the tires.
Yeah,
But probably, it talks about how they feel about Diaby and Marshall currently. Olivia being healthy, they were like, okay, we should come back. But yeah, I'd be interested to know if they made a call and, Dallas outbid them, or if they were the only players looking to add her.
Yeah, I can almost, I have no idea, but I would almost guarantee, having said that, I know nothing, that we aren't looking to add a single player.
No, not right now.
Yeah, but like she's young, so I don't know. I wouldn't blinked an eye at those picks.
I know second round picks nowadays in the W isn't
None of the third round is literally nothing.
Nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah,
we got Rhea and she can't even step on the floor, and we like Rhea. We think she's going to be decent.
We're one of the teams that kept their second round pick. Yeah, it's crazy. We need to keep expanding the league and then expand the rosters. All right, the injury report. It's a big one for Dallas. Maddie Siegrist is out at least until July 7th with an undisclosed injury, I guess. I'm just glad we have an injury report for the W, but they are pretty bad. They don't really say much. Arike Ngumbawale is day-to-day with an illness, but returned to practice and should be 100% well before this game. So unless she gets sick again, she should be fine. I'm going to try my best. This name was not it doesn't let you listen to how it's pronounced on WNBA.com. Louisa Geisel-Soder.
Better than I would do.
Geisel-Soder. I don't know how to do the German dots over the letters. But she's out until July 3rd. Didn't have a reason. Tasha Harris is out for the season. She had a procedure on her left knee. Hope recovery is going well for her. And Tiara McCowan is left the Wings to practice with in Europe for Euroball. So, there's all the stats and information, the injury report. Joe, what is your path to victory with the X's and Joes?
Yeah, this is spoiler alert, my must-win game of the week. You
don't say.
It's very hard to kick a team while you're down, but that's what we are right now, and Dallas is in a worse situation than we are, right? So I know they beat us earlier in the year. It was pretty convincingly as well. Our defense was one of those games where it was just like everything's going in, we're not playing defense, giving up over 100 points. So really it's the three-headed monster again conversation. I have it as it's Paige, Arike, and DJ Carrington. versus Marina, Tina, and Olivia Nelson-Ododa. Feel like those three players, the stats between the three of them should be pretty equal. So the conversation then becomes who's going to be better, our others versus their others. Who's going to step up and be that fourth and fifth option, because both teams are not deep. We're continuing to try to find who that is. I'm hoping with, Sanaya being back, that's going to help. But then also, JC getting into a little bit of a rhythm last game, and that continues in the Indiana game and throughout this entire week. The only thing, that stinks when you have this many games in a row is the lack of practice, right? So you're using your day in between a game as a walkthrough, right? You might get up and down very minimally just to move and continue to work on plays, but you're probably doing a lot of half court stuff. You're probably doing a lot of recovery and stretching and plyometrics just to keep the body fresh and go through whatever you need to go through. So Dallas is playing very, like you said, they're playing the Valkyrie. So like they're coming in they're not going to be on an extended rest. It's just got to be one of those games where it's like have some pride and be like, we do not want to have the worst record in the W. Like come out here, play. They beat you once already. Like come out here with a chip on your shoulder and respond as a team.
I think it was Courtney Williams again on live with like Heidemann and someone and DJ Carrington, and they were like talking the wing, and she was like, "Who'd you guys beat again?" And they were like, "Connecticut." And she's like, "Oh, that makes sense." But also
missed 0 for 11 against that same Connecticut team. BT Dubs.
Right. Yeah. Did you see how the Wings like last game went?
Against Phoenix
With the challenge?
Oh yeah, like they're between Chicago and Dallas. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna get into
our fans want Coach Mez gone. Like,
yeah,
I think that's not everybody in our fan base, but like there are loud noises coming out of Chicago and Dallas about their first year coaches. Loud noises, and it's like public. Like DJ.
I don't really get it. I don't really get it from Chicago. I just think they have a bad team.
Right.
Like Tyler Marsh, like has a pretty good like background. I think. I don't think the guy. I forget his name.
I have it in front of me. It's Chris Coquelins.
Yeah, Coquelins, I think.
Coquelins.
Yeah. I don't like. If you read his Wikipedia page, I don't think he has much experience. But I'm gonna get into what happened in that game. It's in my my write up. But my Alex expectations are, if Chicago was a must win, this is a mega must win. You can't lose to Dallas at home again, especially in an embarrassing way. They clearly are the weakest team in the league, and we are clearly the second weakest team in the league. Do not flip that. Do not let that flip. Dallas probably has a bigger coaching issue than we do. I shouldn't have even written probably. They do. This is what happened in the game we're talking about. They were up 9 with 3 minutes to go. DJ Carrington is guarding someone. The ball, she plays good defense. The ball goes out. They call it off DJ. It was clearly out off the were they playing the Mercury?
Yes.
Ball
or
clearly
it was Vegas. It was Vegas or Mercury. It was one of the two.
Ball, I think it was a Mercury. Ball clearly goes out. Let's just say it was a Mercury. Ball clearly goes out off the Mercury player. And they call it off DJ. The coach has the ball in his hand. Coquelins has the ball in his hand. And their DJ is saying, challenge it, challenge it, challenge it. The whole arena is shouting, challenge it. Every player is kind of like pointing and shouting. Coach gives the ball back to the referee while he's kind of looking at the bench, and he gives it back to them. The players quickly run and like get the ball in bounds, and DJ's just like screaming at him. Next thing you know, Mercury go on a 9-0 run, tie the game. Next thing you know, Mercury win the game, and Dallas lose. I saw people complaining and saying, like, obviously this is on the coach. You can't just, like, when your players are that upset, you gotta do something.
I mean, it was late in the game. I confirmed that it was Phoenix. I don't know why I was thinking Vegas. I think it was their next game, so that would make sense why it's on my mind. But Yeah, with challenges and stuff like that, it's one thing when it's early in the game and the player's going crazy and you're like, hey, no, it doesn't matter the situation. Like, we need this challenge. Like, you're up 9 and like your entire, it wasn't just the players, like the entire staff was telling him the challenge too. And I think his response to DJ was like, it wasn't going to be a foul, but it was going to be their ball anyway, or something along those lines. And it was just like very puzzling because it clearly would have been like their ball. Or he thought that they were going to change it from out of bounds to a foul or something
Foul on
along those
DJ.
lines.
I think they said they were going to change it to a foul on Carrington.
Which, like, regardless if they did, like, at least you slowed the game down, right?
Yeah, at least your team isn't like pissed at you.
Mm-hmm. And
Like when they're
immediately,
like honestly, it's like your team has to fucking calm down. You can't lose. Like it's 9. You're up 9 with 3 minutes to go. Like maybe you should keep your challenge. You're up 9 with 3 minutes to go. But when they're that adamant, you kind of have to control the situation and be like, I can't let this get out of hand.
well, and we've talked about it.
Like you can't let your team go back out there with no pause in the game that emotional.
Right.
At least call a timeout.
And we've talked about it. Like, I don't know the rest of the league, and this might be a blanket statement. And I know like a lot of our fans have said this as well. Like, we don't challenge much. We might. I mean, just looking at games, do we have the least amount of challenges this year? Like, I'd be interested to see. Like,
I don't think there's been one thing though that I've been like challenge that.
no, but like I feel like every game we've watched, like opposing teams are challenging like 2 times because they're getting it right, and then getting a second one. But like I feel like we either the game's out of hand or like something where it's like we just don't challenge. So yeah, I don't know. It's just something I'm gonna look more into for the next pod when we do review stuff, just to kind of see where we rank like on challenges and also like successful challenges. Because after this week we'll be at that 15 game mark that I talked about, ready to hit the panic button. So we'll see.
All right. So yeah, the rest of my expectations: just play good, smart basketball, focus on stopping Paige and Enrique, and get Marina and Tina looks with JC Bree and Sanaya creating off them. Should be able to get the job done. So yeah, just don't embarrass yourselves. I don't know how it happened. I still don't know how it happened last time. Clearly, Courtney Williams can't get over the fact that we fucking lost that game. So let's shut her up and let's win this one. And let's go travel across country to the beautiful Golden State. And on the 22nd on a Sunday, and take on the 5-5 Golden State Valkyrie. Where the Valkyrie are currently, you like that transition? The Valkyrie are currently 6 overall in the W and have a 3-2 record in Valhalla, where the Sun are 1-4 on the road as of now. Oh no, they'll stay 1-4 because they're playing. Well, are they playing on the road tomorrow?
I believe tomorrow is on the road at Indiana.
The Valks have won 3 straight against Seattle, Los Angeles, and Vegas, and play Dallas and Indiana before facing the Sun. The Valkyrie as a team are second in the W in rebounds per game with 37 and steals per game with 8.6, and free throw percentage shooting 82.7%. This is another one I'm going to apologize if I get this wrong, but Cecilia Zandalazani is 5th in the W in 3-point percentage, shooting 47.1%. Kayla Thornton is 4th in the W in steals per game with 1.9 a game. And Temi Fajbinley I wanted to say Fajbinjelli, but there's no second G. How did you pronounce it?
I would go Fajbenley, probably.
Fajbinley. You added a Z in there once.
I did.
Fajbinley. Yeah, Fajbinley. That's a good one. Let's go with that. Temi Fajbinley is 5th in the W in field goal. Field goal percent shooting 54.3%. Kayla Thornton also leads the team in points per game at 14.4 and rebounds with 7.4. And Veronica Burton leads the team with 5.4 assists per game. And this is the first matchup between the Valks and the Sun this year. The injury report, Tiffany Hayes is out with a nose injury, but she'll be back with plenty of time before this game. That was it. Joe, over to you. What is the path to victory?
Yeah, first things first. Let me eat crow for the first time this season.
Definitely not the first time this season you're eating crow.
The first time that I am admitting to eating crow. I did not see this coming from the Valkyrie, but we talked about the potential of an expansion team. Role players in an expanded role, you never know what you're going to get out of them. There's a lot of talent in this league. We said, hey, just from the stats and the star power from last year, that none of these names are sticking out to us as impact players, right? And the draft, how they went, not well, but they've done a really good job. The coach has been phenomenal early on in this year. The established vets have done a really good job on this team. Like we said, I think the biggest person to stop here is going to be Veronica Burton. While she's not the leading scorer, I think she's the engine for that team. She had a game recently where she almost put up a triple double. I think stopping someone's best guard is the reason that we drafted Sanaya Rivers, and I'm sticking her right on her and making her life hell, see what the rookie can do. And then, like you said, Kayla Thornton's been phenomenal for them this year, but again, this team is balanced. I mean, I'm looking at the scoring right now, and we're talking 14 points a game, 11 points a game, 10 points a game, 10 points a game, 12 points a game, 10 points a game, 8 points a game from their main contributors. That's what kind of you would expect from this team, because there is no superstar player playing with them. It's a bunch of people who are excelling again in their roles. I know I sound like a broken record in this preview, but that's what you're starting to see. They have an identity. They've coached to that identity. They've played to that identity. And again, some nights they're just not going to have the talent to win games, but some nights their roles, they're going to win their roles and they're going to win the game. So again, I'm challenging, and I'll wait till we do the record prediction, but I'm challenging two of our players this week to really be the leading horses for us. But this game's not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be on paper earlier in the year. I marked every game against the Valkyrie as a victory, just based on what was going on. But this is going to be a battle, and it's going to really show these veterans versus our young players and who's going to win that matchup.
So do you think you have a clear path to victory for us? You think it's going to be easy, or you think they're just too spread out? We're too thin for their deep.
It kind of imagines to me it's going to be our third game or fifth. This is game 4 or 5 this week. So
yeah, I'm thinking flying across the country.
You got to fly across the country. This isn't going to be not going to be an easy thing to do. You're, especially because Friday night's game against Dallas, that's Friday night, 7:30. Then you're flying to the West Coast on Saturday. You're probably only getting a full day, out there before the game. So it's there's just a lot of games in a short amount of time, and the travel.
Your path to victory is sleep and rest.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. The path to victory is hoping the game versus Dallas goes how we hope it's going to go on paper, and you can give Marina, Tina a couple, less minutes on the floor and get them extra rest, because no one's playing 5 games in 7 days and feeling good afterwards. The body's going to need to recover after that.
Yeah.
So not an easy game. Is it a winnable game? Sure. I'm not going to say we're going out there just to go out Saturday night in LA and then, lay an egg, but you just don't know with this team right now. It's just been we haven't gotten too many games where they've played a complete 40 minutes. So it's it's not that I'm overly confident or I'm under I think we're underachieving at this point, but it's not a cakewalk anymore like I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. What did you say about LA?
Well, just going out on Saturday night when you get there, free time. A lot of young
Joe,
players.
Joe,
You
they're
don't
in
know
San
about the
Francisco.
NBA? Yeah, but they're going to be probably in LA and then go to San Francisco, or they're going to be in San Francisco,
You think
go
they're
to
gonna
LA.
fly to LA and then fly to San Francisco hours before the game?
Wouldn't surprise
They're
me.
gonna
No,
go out in San Francisco.
well, they're going to go out in California on a Saturday night. Every player
Joe,
does.
look at
Every
just
pro
look at a map.
athlete.
Just do me a favor when we get off. Just look at a map of California.
I know where LA and San Francisco is. I'm in the sense of the LA thing. People go to California and even in the NBA, they always say, "Oh, you got a game on a Sunday afternoon in LA. You can tell who went out on Saturday night before playing in a 1 o'clock
in
game."
LA. I'm telling you, they're not going out in LA from Golden State,
No, they're
especially on
going
the
out. I
WNBA
misspoke. They're
budget.
going out in California.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Sanaya Rivers doesn't drink, so you don't have to worry about her. But all right, girls, don't drink or don't party too much. Joe can tell.
When it's 10-0 to start the game, and they have to burn a timeout, I'm gonna text you and I'm just gonna go, "They went out last night."
Things are expensive up there. Save your money. Stay in. Watch a movie in room service. Order room service. All right. My expectations is a lot like Joe was saying when he was eating crow. These Valkyrie games I had circled on my calendar, but man, they have been way better than I expected. Natalie Nasake is a Coach of the Year candidate for me so far. On paper, this team still isn't impressive when you're reading names. If you're not like a WNBA diehard. But I called out the sky for their leading scorer, Ariel Atkins, averaging only 13, which was the lowest for a team's leading scorer. But Thornton's only averaging 14. But when you look at the numbers, 5 players are averaging 10 points, or more, but under 14. So that helps, a lot. Clearly, everyone is bought in on the vision of this team, and it shows. Maybe the bottom falls out and they become a bottom 4 team like everyone thought, but right now it's a lot tougher than this game is going to be a lot tougher than we originally thought. Having said that, still totally winnable if you take out the fact that it's a cross country flight. We played 4 games in 6 days. But matchup wise, it's totally winnable. When they come here, we'll be saying that. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one based on schedule. But we're thin. They are not. Which it was looking like it was going to be a who's who of the bench coming into the season, who can find the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th players on their teams first, and they clearly have lapped us. And they're crushing it with a 5-5 record. That's 3 more wins than probably anyone expected them to have. And they've beaten, who did I say they beat? They just beat 3 teams in a row. Seattle, LA, and Vegas. 3 good teams. Well, LA's all right. But yeah, any more thoughts before you want to get into record predictions?
No, let's go. Let's jump into it.
All right. I have personally 1 and 2. I have a loss tomorrow, sadly, or Wednesday. I do have a loss tomorrow, but we've already talked about that. Wednesday, I have a loss to the Mercury. We'll be there. I don't want to predict losses when we're there, but Mercury are too damn good, and I'm too much of a believer of that team. Win against Dallas, just have to, any way necessary, and a loss cross country to the Valkyrie.
And I know I've been super positive all season. It's bitten me in the butt over and over again. I feel like the only good game that I've called was Atlanta.
I mean, we've only won 2, so there's not much positive to, yeah.
It was 1 of 2. Well,
Not like you got anything wrong.
No, I would say I toot my own horn with the Lynx that we were right there. That one was
I'm saying you've been probably more right than anything on the games.
So it bothers me to say I think this is an 0-3 stretch.
Lose to Dallas.
Yeah, I
It's
just
sure. Oh, hey.
there's something not right now with this team, and it's just we're incomplete, right? We're not seeing the defense get any better, right? Teams are still scoring every 2 games. It feels like someone's putting up 100, right? Whether we want them to or not, like it's
Yeah.
happening.
I don't
Marina
think we
is
ever
really
won.
Marina is really the only true bucket getter that we've seen. And
I mean, Tina still puts up numbers. She still misses.
yeah, but it might be on like 8 of 20,
Yeah,
or she's not
she
shooting
shoots a
many
lot.
free throws this year, or and like she hasn't been a force defensively. Like at times
She's not getting steals, blocks, or rebounds. Is like the
she's been a
problem.
liability at time on defense, and like it's tough to say that because like she is a Hall of Fame player, one of the best all time. And I'm not saying, we talked about it in the preview of the season, like we're not expecting her to go 20 and 10 every game. Like we were
Yeah,
expecting a couple more rebounds, a block here and there, steals, more defense, and then there's been absolutely no consistency from our bench. Right, it's like a revolving door of players out there. We talked about, oh, Haley Peters had a nice stretch, and then she's been non-existent this week. And then as of now, and then Anissa Mora, we're like, okay, she's about to jump into the spot
yeah. She played a fourth quarter and then didn't play a single minute.
with Olivia being hurt. She played the whole fourth quarter. Like, okay, maybe she's going to build off of this. Then gets minimal minutes and then no minutes. And then it's Bria Hartley, which she's been a nice piece. Lindsay Allen's been hurt. It's just like it's been just a revolving door, and I just don't see it. I see it getting worse before it gets better, Alex. Like I see it getting worse, and
Yeah, but
this
that
week
could happen, and we still beat Dallas.
it could. It very well could. I mean, I can see there's an avenue for us to be 2-1 this week, but
We
I
beat
just
Atlanta without Liv.
I know.
She scored 2 points before going out.
I know. So I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I want you to take the record this week, and I want to go 2-1 because we get the Valkyrie on an off game or something, or Alyssa Thomas is just overwhelmed to be home and tries to force some things instead of being Hall of Fame player. Like there's
Yeah, I really
avenues.
think the only way we win that game is if Copper gets full minutes and is like trying to find her shot
Right.
and just keeps forcing it
Yeah.
and
So
goes like has like a Jordan Canada game, like exactly like that, but is the number one option.
So I just see it as much as I want it to be 1-2. I'm just gonna say it gets worse before it gets better, and this week will be as this week goes on, it might be an 0-5 week over 7 games or over the 7 days.
Yeah, could be. What would your thoughts going forward be if we beat the Mercury being there?
And we might have to go to more games.
All right.
But
Well,
like I feel
we'd be
like
1-2. We'd be 2-1, and we should be 3-0.
I feel like any game is winnable, but for us the perfect script has to happen. And I don't know the answer to what that script looks like every game. It changes because
It's usually the other
we
team
change.
playing bad.
Right. And
Yeah.
even when other teams have played bad, we haven't won the games, and we should have.
All right, Joe. It's time for the fantasy draft.
Dun dun dun.
How do you think you're doing so far this week? You picked Angel Reese first. I'm not going to tell you. I just want to.
I mean, she had a triple double.
Preview,
Yeah,
yeah.
she had a triple double. I think
But you
she
also
put up
picked
some good
Sanaya Rivers,
numbers.
who didn't play. Who didn't play, but
Yeah,
you
and that was tough
you
because
didn't get a chance to change it because she was active.
she was active. So that donut's definitely gonna hurt. Hopefully she's back, has a nice game tomorrow at this point against.
I could tell you what the score is so far. Or I
I
could tell
don't
you
want to know. I don't want to know.
I don't have the full scores, but I do have the full points of everyone.
So I would say I'm down right now with the opportunity to come back.
I will say Reese was the top point getter with 40.
Yeah. So
What do you
we'll
think?
see.
What do you think Mabry got that game overall?
33.
Wow, nailed it.
I'm learning.
Nailed it. All right. I have first pick. We're alternating every week. This is a fantasy draft where we take all the players from every team that is all the games we just reviewed. So the Sun, the Wings, the Mercury, and the Valkyrie. And we fantasy draft for them 2 players each team. And we take the points, the rebounds, the assists, the steals, and the blocks, and we add them up for a point total. And then the next week on the podcast, we will say what the score is. Right now, the score, I'm going over this for hopefully all of our new listeners. Right now, the fantasy score it drastically changed. Joe had a terrible week last week. He went from up 40 points overall, 626 to 586, to down 25. And I'm now up 795 to 777. This is the first week we are doing 4. No, sorry, this is 3 games, right? 3 games. So this will be the second week we've done 3 games. The top score was you that week with 303. So that's the score to beat.
Okay.
So
who are you taking first?
So first overall, dun 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 dun. I'm taking Marina Mabry.
Yeah.
3 games. 3 games. She's on fire right now. Putting up last 2 games, she put up 20 and 30. 22 and 34, or what was it? 22 and something, and then 34. Yeah, she's averaging 17.6, 5.2, and 3.8. Vote for her for the All-Star game. Marina Mabry. Lock it in.
Yeah, she clearly belongs. She clearly belongs. You know, you can say what you want about the record, and people could be out there being like, "Oh, these are empty stats." Like, no, she's the only reason we're even in a lot of these games. Like, she is a phenomenal player.
Huh? Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, if anyone's saying that, I'd say explain that.
You know, just based on the record, people look at all-star players and like, "Oh, they're not winning," so like you call them empty stats. But like, she's the reason we're almost winning games that we shouldn't even be competitive in.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, you put Michael Jordan on the Sun, and like, I mean, that's a bad. But you put Michael Jordan on like the worst team, he's not gonna make the playoffs.
No,
like he didn't make the playoff. Or he didn't make the playoffs till Rodman came, not Rodman, fucking Pippen.
Yeah, no, it's a hard thing to do on your own.
Were his stats meaningless? Yeah, fuck you to whoever said that.
I am going to go with Miss Tina Charles.
Right,
I think I can't let you get both Sun players.
Yeah, I put her 4th just because I figured you were going to pick her 2nd. So
yeah, I mean, if I didn't, you were probably picking her. So
yeah, I would have picked her 2nd, but I didn't. I figured I didn't even think of her 2nd because I figured you'd take her. So I wrote her 4th. 16.8 a game, 5.5 and 1.6. Vote for her as well for All-Star. All right, my next pick, I'm picking Satu Sabali. 20.6 points a game, having a career year. She is also an All-Star. You should vote for her as well. 20.6, 7.9 rebounds, and 2.9 assists per game. She is going to dominate us.
I am going to Phoenix with you, and I am taking Alyssa Thomas.
She was next on my big board.
In the return, we'll see how she plays. I mean, she should do her normal, even if she's only throwing 7 assists instead of 15. She's still going to be putting up numbers.
Yeah, she averages 14.4 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 6.9 assists. No, 6.9 assists. Is that what I said before? No, she averages 9 assists.
9 assists, yep.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a slash. Another 6. Yeah. No, I feel like I fucked up all of her numbers. I just want to read that right. 6.6 rebounds. That's what it was supposed to be. All right. I am going to Dallas and taking one of UConn's goats, Paige Beckers. Up to 7.
I knew you were going to do that because you didn't like that I took her last time.
I mean, I'm going by numbers, man. That's all I can tell you. If you're the best player available, I'm taking you. Paige Becker, 17.4 points, 4.5 rebounds, 6.1 assists. Great numbers. Averaging almost as much as Mabry and more assists. But only get 1 game over.
I am going to make my way back to Connecticut,
Ooh.
and I am going to take Olivia Nelson-Ododa. Um, I really think these next 3 games are, as Marina's going to get hers, it's really going to come down to Tina and Olivia in the front court. I think they have to be dominant for us to have any chance of winning. Again, I think I'm saying we go 0-3. Maybe I'm trying to reverse jinx it a little bit, but I'm going to take, it's 3 games. I'm going to take my other Connecticut player now.
Where do you think she was on my big board?
7.
Maybe I'm undervaluing the amount of games, but I had her 14th.
Oh, wow.
So I'm happy to see you take her. I'm going with a Valkyrie player next. I'm going to take one from each, have a nice even roster. I'm going with Kayla Thornton. She's clearly their best player. 14.4 points, 7.4 rebounds, leading the team in both. 1.1 assists. Let's get that up a little bit for the fantasy. But yeah, definitely their best fantasy player. So,
Yeah, I thought to myself, if I take Olivia now, you're probably grabbing a Valkyrie. So I was content with either getting Kayla Thornton or her running mate, Veronica Burton, who I'm going to take with my pick. Again, her numbers are on the rise. Last few games, she's a consistent player, and see what she can do against us.
All right, she was 11.9, 4.1, and 5.4. I had her 13th on my board, but it's really hard with all these Valkyrie players. They are so interchangeable with these stats. It's very close. She honestly, looking at it, it doesn't really matter. Like, I had 10, 11, 13, and it's like where I wanted to, what team I wanted to draft first. Don't take that with a grain of salt. 13th. But I'm really glad you went there because I am going to take Arike Agumbawale, who hopefully feels great after recovering from her illness. 16.6 a game, points per game, 3 rebounds, 4.3 assists.
That brings me back to.
I'm done with Dallas.
Yep. So that's going to bring me back to Phoenix. I'm going to go with Copper. I just think volume is going to be a thing. I think they're going to, like you said it perfectly. They're probably going to try to get her going, ramped up over these next couple games. I could see her just having high volume, high activity. Figure that's a good value at this pick.
So you are done with. Oh, you're done with Sun and.
Yep. I need 2 Dallas and a Valkyrie.
All right, so I can save my. Okay. Yeah, Copper was next on my board, so good pick. I was 8th. I can't pick who's next on my board. Sorry, I'm just rechecking something real quick. I'm going. It's between 2 Valkyrie players I have 10th and 11th on my board. I need to. I'm sorry. I need to dig deeper. Who's having a better last couple games? Ooh, big game last time from her. Oh no. Okay, she's having a better. All right. Yep. Stick to the big board. I'm gonna. I forgot how we pronounced it, but Temi, I'm taking you. Temi Fashion Belly. 10.3 points, 6.1, and 1.9. She's had the better few games over the last against probably who you're going to take at some point, I believe, is the next best Valkyrie player. But Temi, welcome to the team. You are taken next, 10th on my board.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay with the Valkyrie as well. Close that up. Not a lot. Not a lot that you can go with back and forth. I mean, again, like you said, a lot of the stats are similar. I'm gonna go with Janelle Saloon.
Yeah,
Saloon.
yeah, that's what I was debating.
Salon. I don't know. Again, I apologize for butchering the name, but
Yes, yeah, I think.
I just think close out that team. I think she's just next best player available, and clearly I have a strategy with Dallas. Picking those two players last.
Yeah, yeah, it's smart because I closed them out, so it's good strategy. Yeah, 11.8, 5.9, 1.4 as well. She had a big game last time. I almost picked her, but went with Temi. Uh, yeah, who would you have picked if the board was clean between those two?
Probably would have leaned Temi just
Right.
because it's a little more size.
Makes me feel good. Um, so I have to pick now between a um
You need a Sun and a Mercury.
and a Mercury, and you have both closed both of them out. So I am going to take Lexi Held, 8 points, 1.8, 1.6, but she has kind of been going off.
She's a good shooter.
Let me see if I just made that up. I'm picking her regardless. Rookie out of DePaul, 3 points the last game, but before that, 11, 14, 24, and 16. So pretty good. Pretty good stretch before that last game. See if she can get back to that. She was 12th on my board.
So then that brings me to Dallas. It's going to go with DJ Carrington.
Yep, who was 9th on mine.
Just, probably the best player available.
Definitely. She averaged 12.7, averaging 12.7, 4.9, and 2. And I'm going to close out with Sanaya Rivers, 7.1, 2.8, and 2.8. She should be good to go after the illness, getting Joe a goose egg last week or last game. She'll get you some points against the Fever. Which are you have one more pick, or is that it?
I have one more pick.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was gonna say I still have one more person on my board, not crossed off.
There's so much of me that wants to pick Lee Yuru just so she can beat you in fantasy this week.
Hey,
Um,
I would say that might be she's. I'm gonna tell you she's not the one on my big board, but I would love if you picked her.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you just said McGowan's gone, the German center's gone, like Maddie Sechrist, you said is hurt,
Yeah,
so like their front court's very thin.
but like, how much has she learned? How much is she
Like
know her teammates yet? Next time we play, she's gonna be a force. Next time we play Dallas, she'll be a force. She'll be
so because of that, and I'm sure she's gonna come into this game and actually like go like 12 points and 8 rebounds, but I'm gonna choose Maisha Hines Allen as
yeah,
my
that's
final
why.
pick.
Yeah,
She's a bully. She rebounds. She plays defense. She does a little bit of everything. I figured last pick it's safe.
yeah, 6.7, 5.6, and 3. Just gonna get you something guaranteed. Okay, well, we managed to go well over an hour.
We like to talk.
Yeah, we ranted on what did we rant on? We talked about the Valkyrie a lot. We talked about the
Potential lockout.
potential lockout out of nowhere. And yeah, all the pre-show chatter. But to close it out, we're going to talk about our brightest star prediction, which has literally only been a 2-horse race between Marina Mabrey or Tina Charles every week, even though we've picked Sinai Rivers, Olivia Nelson-Ododa a few times. So we're going to add another thing. We're going to keep brightest star. For now, we'll keep picking either Marina Mabrey or Tina Charles, probably, unless we're feeling it and we want to pick someone else. We think something's going to happen. But we're going to add another thing that we're going to do. Joe, have you come up with a better name than another bright star?
Supporting actress. That's the only thing I could think of. Supporting. Nothing sun related. Feel free to leave a comment or something below
Yeah,
if
we
you
could
guys have
always
anything.
change it. But for now, it's just going to be another bright star. And it's going to be who besides Marina or Tina do we see stepping up and having a good week? And then the only thing is to get a point or not. We love points and we love competing. It's not going to be like yours versus mine, and it's not going to be like if we pick the same person, or whatever, we could still get like I can get a point, or you can might not get a point. It's whether they meet our expectations of having a good week.
You know
If
what
you
we could
would,
also do? We could leave it up to a fan poll.
that's too much work.
Okay.
That's a lot of work. Because then I'd have to do it beforehand and then get the
No, you do
result.
it. You do it after the games.
And then, yeah, but then if we
We'll
don't get
talk
enough
about it.
participation, no, and then if we don't get enough participation, no, I like it better for the podcast. I like it better if it's just our opinion because we do enough, we do all that, and we get all the fan opinion, anyway.
True.
So we talk about that enough. This is for us. Um, so yeah, you'll pick another player outside of the top two, obviously Marina and Tina, and if at the end of the week, in the review part, or yeah, in the review part of next week, it'll be whether they met your expectations for the week or not. So first, who do you have as your brightest star, Tina or Marina, or God forbid anybody else?
It's got to be Marina. She's on such a heater right now. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, I also have Marina. Can't not pick Marina after talking to her last night. Um, she's also just killing it. I thought she was going to have 30 again against Chicago, but only 22, which you can't say only 22. That's a big number. Um, but yeah, so for the first ever, another bright star. I'll go first because I already basically hyped the shit out of her. JC Sheldon. I want to see big things out of her this week. I want to see her hitting threes from the corner. I want to see her swiping balls out of hands. I want to see her diving on floors, doing all the JC Sheldon things she always does. On top of scoring, being that third or fourth scorer. If Sanaya's having a good game, great, even better. But be that next in line scorer when we need you. You're getting what 20 minutes a game. If I can look it up real quick, what is she getting a game? She is averaging, and of course, I have to go to view all stats because I'm not on reference. But
Better
anyway,
be.
just hit your shots, take your shots. Honestly, if you go 0 for 8 one game, I'm not even going to be mad. Like, put up your shots. Yeah. Joe, who do you got?
So I think you're gonna be surprised at my pick, but this player just returned off of injury. I'm interested to see Lindsay Allen get more acclimated back into the offense. I'm curious if she'll find her way back into the starting lineup, and Bria Hartley will be back coming off the bench, where I think she might be more suitable.
That would be huge for our depth.
Which would also help the depth because, Hartley is somebody who can create a little bit off the dribble. We've seen her hit some pull-up jump shots, some tough jumpers. I'm not saying a starting lineup change is imminent, but I'm curious to see as she gets more minutes and gets back into the flow of the game. I'd love to see her running the show again, getting somewhere between 3 and 5 assists if she's playing somewhere between 15 minutes, right? So it's a smaller role. My expectations aren't crazy for her, but I think just having a pure point guard back on this team, which is something we haven't had in about 8 games, 6, 7 games. I can't remember how many games she's missed right now off the top of my head, but I think having a pure point guard back in the rotation is only going to help evolve the rest of the offense. So hopefully she can, get back into the swing of things.
Yeah. Bria coming off the bench, getting a lot of those bench minutes. I'm trying not to say things that we're going to say on Thursday, but our bench sucks in terms of not player wise. Just we're getting 2 points in 20 minutes, 18 minutes. It's like we're not utilizing.
There's no production right now. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need someone. Because when those bench
Like,
players,
I don't think we're trying to get production out of it.
I don't want to talk too much about it, but we're not getting productive bench minutes because we're keeping Marina and Tina on the floor and they're getting those majority of the shots. So we need just more depth. When they're off the floor, someone can create and do. But again, I'm sure that's going to be a heavy vocal point in our review podcast of the week.
Yeah. All right. Trying to think if there's anything else we need to cover. You got anything?
I think we're good. It's just getting to the game on Wednesday. They played tomorrow. Tomorrow against Indiana. We'll see what happens. And then we got Phoenix. So I can't believe they're back to back. Scheduling gods, like we said, brutal. But
what's our record? What did I say our record was?
2-8.
2-8. So that's 10 games. Tomorrow. Oh, this is perfect. Tomorrow. Oh,
we'll
no.
be 25% of the way. Yep. 44.
Yeah, tomorrow's 11. Damn.
So we're getting to the thick of it. So we'll see what happens. But hang on tight. Ride might get rocky.
I was gonna say on Thursday we should record a separate thing quick and react 25% of the way through. I mean, it's fine. It's only a game or two after, but Thursday would only be a game after, so it'd still basically be 25%.
It'll be right there.
React to our preseason predictions and what we'd change and what we wouldn't, and see how dumb we look.
Things can be done. I like looking dumb, so
yeah. Look at the over-under episode. It's probably not going to look pretty.
No.
We didn't even know what the team was going to look like. Next year will be a lot easier.
I think so.
Unless they sell the whole team again. All right. We'll see you on Wednesday. If you're there, come say hi. Yeah. Hopefully they beat Caitlin Clark tomorrow.
See you, everybody. Hopefully we're in a better mood.
I'm in a great mood. What's up? You want to talk about things? You all right there?
Basketball mood.
All right. Everyone send your best to Joe.